Had a few days to treat it and get past it.
Feel good. Yeah, I'm just going to see how the week goes and see how the body responds, but definitely feel better than the last time I nicked it up.
You talked about how you got, shot up on that halftime of the game. Is that something you feel like you can regularly do? Like, if the pain lingers, can you do that like before every game, or is there a limit to that kind of thing?
Yeah, I haven't really decided what my exact approach is going to be. I don't think it's worth thinking about until we get to the end of the week and kind of see how I feel. But I felt comfortable with how I was able to go out there and play in that second half after having done that. So if it comes to that, I feel like that could be done again, but we'll see.
You said Sunday you're still dealing with the sprain. Is it safe to say that's not going to be something that goes away before this season ends and it's just kind of going to be there?
Yeah, I don't know. It's definitely, something that I'm using every day, obviously, so it's hard to give it proper rest, and I was able to give it that rest when I had the few weeks off, which was nice. But it's definitely a different scenario now, and we're just going to take it day by day, see how it feels.
What do you see when you watch them on tape defensively, and what are some things that you feel like you guys need to do better this Sunday?
I think just being ready for all the different types of looks, which I think is not necessarily something we need to do 100% better than last week. I thought we were really, locked in, and we were able to be keyed in on our assignments, and people at least know the different looks that we were able to get and the urgency that we were able to get up on the ball and run plays. I feel like helped us to see the looks earlier and just get people running. So emphasis on that. Also just knowing because they're going to be giving us, a whole bunch of different looks, blitzes from all different angles, different positions, different packages, different personnel groups. The install today was pretty hefty, and guys are going to know that they're going to have to be on their P's and Q's for the different looks that we can see. So that's going to be the biggest thing. It's on us. It's about us. And it's about us just knowing our jobs and how to respond to the different looks that we can get.
At this point, 4 games left, no chance of the playoffs, a losing season. Like for you personally, what is left for you to play for? What's your goal for the rest of this season?
I continue to build the identity that we're trying to build with this program. I know we talked about that throughout the past couple of weeks. We're doing the right things. They're showing up on tape. People are handling themselves the right way. And if we weren't doing that, then this past Sunday could have gone a whole lot more ugly. And it's crazy to think keep leaning on the same things that got us to a position to play a game like that. But we can't be results focused. We need to be process focused, and we feel like our process right now is pretty good. We're obviously trying to find ways each and every week to improve it. But in order for us to build and grow to where we want to as an organization, everyone needs to buy in there and use these last 4 weeks to propel us into the future.
What's been the biggest issue in the red zone? What's the number one fix down there?
I think first and foremost, getting down there. I mean, we haven't had many opportunities, but second, at least personally speaking, just knowing that a lot of the times it's only one person's going to be open, and you got to know the different looks that can potentially get you to that person a little earlier, and just being able to see things and process things faster. Getting those reps on there are so important. It sucks going back and watching that tape and having missed Chig on that one, but just got to keep leaning into what we believe in for our philosophy down there, and we know that we have the plays and the players to put the ball in the end zone. We just got to do it more consistently.
What's the interception rate, do you think, Will? It's gone down so much second time around here as opposed to early in the season. What are some of the reasons behind that, do you think?
Just being just not trying to do as much. I feel like I'm seeing things better and better throughout the year for sure in terms of coverage, and not just dropping back and going through a progression and being open or not open, but being okay, it's this coverage, we're probably expecting this to be open or that not to. So I think I'm doing a good job of that. And then just keeping the ball close to my body, being, even with the fumbles, just being able to secure it when taking those hits and going down with the ball. I think it's just been a combination of those things and everyone else helping me out and doing their jobs the right way.
You ever talk to Burrow, I guess, as you start to learn Brian or learn this offense? If not, how much have you watched him as you kind of found your way in this offense?
No, I haven't talked to him much, but obviously, a bunch of tape on him and trying to see what he did so well to get that offense to where they're at, and kind of taking those specific parts of his game and making them my own, and then seeing just at least the thought process with how he's able to get through his progressions, obviously the same plays and concepts that we're doing. So from the jump, we were watching film on him, obviously, me and Callie, and was able to learn a lot of great things that he's been able to put on tape over the last few years. And I was looking forward to seeing him play here. And it's going to be interesting, just like seeing both systems kind of go at it against each other.
What are some of the things that you've learned about yourself and about playing the position at this level on a week-to-week basis, maybe that was different than what you thought it was going to be, maybe from your time in college or last year as a rookie?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm trying to think of something that really sticks out at me. I would just say how to just be the same person every day, regardless of what happened the day before, and rolling with the punches. And obviously, these first couple seasons for me haven't gone the way that I would have loved them to. And I think because of that, it's been able to make me a much better person, a better player because of it. And at first, that might have not have jumped off the page at me, and I might have just been sitting there asking why it's happening and why things kind of aren't turning around. But I feel like I'm truly able to realize all the things that have happened to me and to us and this team have happened for a reason, and we're going through this for a reason, and we're going to come out of it on the other side eventually. So that's helped my mental and have helped me stay positive throughout it.
When you talk about focusing in on this team's identity, this team's culture, can you put into words what it is? What is the culture that Brian is instilling right now?
Yeah, I think that obviously we talk about being relentless and resilient throughout all of our actions, and he's made it a point to bring it up to us at our team meetings over the last couple of weeks of those two words, and just being able to get after it for as long as it takes to get the mission finished. And that's what it's going to take for the end of this year, is guys knowing the situation that we're in, and even though that there's 4 weeks left and that we're technically out of it, that we're going to go to battle every single day as long as it takes to strive and to work towards getting to where this organization wants to get to, like I said. So 4 more weeks, got to take advantage of every single day, and we're going to have each other's backs while we do it.
Going back to developing that level of patience, is there any way to do it other than to kind of go through the things that you're talking about?
Sorry, say that again, sorry.
But going back to the level of patience that you're talking about, that you've been able to develop and how much you've been able to learn, is there any other way to develop it other than to go through the kind of things that you guys have gone through this year?
No, I think that it just comes with the reps and with the time and with going through the process. And we would have loved to get it off to a hot start right away. But we just kind of got to understand the situation that we're in and trust that everything we're doing is putting us in the best position going forward.
You are a competitive guy. I know you were feeling it a little bit when you were trying to get that first win this year starting. Is it difficult for you to be process-oriented instead of results-oriented when you have that competitive streak to your brain?
I think right after the games, for sure. I'll definitely beat myself up after games and take that day or that evening to process things and take the good with the bad, obviously, and internalize it. But then I think I do a good job of waking up the next day and being able to turn the page. I think that it's not going to be something that drags with me throughout the week. At least I think I've gotten myself to that point, and I've been able to kind of just get back going, because in this league there's no time to dwell on the past or look forward to the future. You got to be in the present at all times if you want to have any chance at winning consistently. So I'm able to realize that and look forward to and have fun with this game every single day, regardless of how the previous week went.
Well, you say we're doing the right things. Have you reconciled why the results haven't been there? If you feel as though...
Yeah, that's been the hardest thing. Watching a lot of good and still being why are we still short? I think I mentioned that game this past Sunday. I'd never been more at a loss for words after a game. Just being we did a lot of the things that we were asked about. Guys specifically were called out and came up and stepped up to the plate and did all the things that were challenged to them, and yet we still came up a little short. And like I said earlier, it goes to show if we don't do those things, then it looks a whole lot uglier. So the only thing we can do is just to keep leaning into those things. So it's definitely frustrating, but all we can do is keep at it, and we've already seen the results here and there a few times this year. But we got to just trust that they're going to turn into W's sooner or later.
Facing a guy like Hendrickson, I mean, how aware do you have to be, where he lines up, and what kind of emphasis will it be knowing he's hunting you up, get the ball out quickly and on target?
Yeah, no, he's a grinder, leading the league in sacks. You know that. Hubbard on the other side, no slouch either. So we got to be ready on what they're going to have for us up front, the different packages, and how they're going to try to get them in their best rush positions. So we're going to know where he's at all day and have a plan to handle protection. So opportunities to do good things against this defense, I think, but they do have players across the ball.
Appreciate
Thank you, guys.
The injury report will be out here in a few minutes, so there'll be some guys just like last week that didn't participate today that we're hopeful that will be ready to roll Sunday. A couple guys will probably have to take the game day again this time of year, but right now I feel we're in a decent place. This is it's exciting to get ready. I've not got to prepare to play against Cincinnati. I haven't been there for as long as I was, and it's kind of weird getting ready to go play the Bengals. Haven't been a part of it, so excited to see a bunch of people and compete against them. I might as well just come out and say how I feel about it. I mean, I think Joe Burrow is playing the quarterback position is better than anybody in football right now. I think to me, he's the MVP of the NFL at this point. And then Jamar is playing as good as any receiver is playing football right now. So tough test for us defensively. Those guys are at the top of their game. And then defensively, I've got a lot of respect for Lou and what he does. His scheme is hard to get ready for. And, Trey Hendrickson's rushing the passer probably as good as anybody in football right now, too. So we got a work cut out for us. It'll be a tough test and excited to get going this week. So with that, I'll let you guys go ahead.
Nick, did he get hurt in the game at all?
Yeah, he just had some kind of general soreness through the game that was just kind of bothering him. But you're always mindful of it with kickers and that kind of leg soreness. So he finished the game, but was sore. We'll list him today as DNP. He doesn't do anything on Wednesdays anyway. He'll try to kick tomorrow, and we'll see where he's at. So don't really know how to feel about it either way. I just know he'll kick tomorrow, and we'll have a better feel for his status after that.
So having Braden just more insurance,
Absolutely.
Depending on how that goes through the week?
Yeah, Braden's in insurance, and if for some reason he can't go Sunday, Braden will be ready to roll, and he'll kick and do all that. So obviously it's nice to have some familiarity with him, and he's here in case we need him.
How's Will with the start of the week?
How is he?
Yeah, how did he do maybe
Good.
first day?
Yeah, he practiced good. He looked good today. Excited to get back out there for him to keep getting better, and had no ill effects today at practice. Thought he threw the ball well.
Is it different managing the injury this time now that you've kind of been through this and know how to talk about his pain management?
I've learned a lot about dealing with injuries, his in particular. So, I pay a lot of attention to some particular things, and just body language and things like that, arm angles and a lot of different things I pay attention to. So, I feel good about what he did today.
Going back to Burrow, Coach, what is it about him, especially this season, that has helped him continue to be one of the elite quarterbacks?
There's a lot of things. One, I think he's just so accurate. He very rarely misses a throw. The ball is almost always where he intends it to go. The other part of it is he's got such great command of the offense, of everything happening out there, knows exactly where his problems are, knows exactly how to solve them. You're not going to ever fool him. You're also not ever going to rattle him. He's probably one of the most steadfast quarterbacks in football in terms of nothing rattles him one way or the other. He's just really a fantastic quarterback. And then the last part of his game that he's really unlocked this year is on the move. He's made some incredible plays off structure, and him and Jamar are on the same page along with those guys in the offense. They're really, really good at reacting when he breaks, and they've created quite a bit of offense that way. And he's playing the position as good as you can play quarterback. I mean, it's really fun to watch as a fan of quarterback play, and he's everything you look for in what you're expecting a great quarterback to look like. He looks like it.
Patience that the Bengals have, with you and Zach Taylor in the beginning. Like, how much do you look at that as an example of, okay, we kept our eyes on the prize, kept pressing forward and applying that to now?
Yeah, I mean, situations are all different. You know, but there is some similarities and some parallels anytime you're starting a program in your first year. And I draw on a lot of those experiences. You know, it's hard to say that they're going to mirror each other in any way, shape, or form. But there is a lot of lessons I learned in that first year in particular that I still use daily here. And you know, I don't want to draw too many comparisons because we're just sort of starting out, and that program's 6 years along at this point. So, but there's a lot of lessons I learned, a lot of things I draw upon from that early part of that.
What's one of those lessons?
You know, when things get challenging during the season and you're not winning games, there's a lot of things you have to do as a coach to continue to build what you expect it to look like and what it's supposed to look like moving forward. And the focus is always on that, is trying to build what you want the team to look like, practice like, play like, interact in the building. All those things are sort of constantly at the forefront of my mind. And that's one of the things that I thought Zach did such a fantastic job of in that first year at Cincinnati is being able to maintain the composure and the drive to keep getting better in the midst of a challenging season.
Along those lines, you know, regarding that, what is the identity that you want this team to kind of hang its hat on, and how close do you feel like you've gotten to seeing this team's identity, you know, come to fruition?
There's a lot of things that I see on a daily basis that I'm excited about, and what are the identity. One of the things we talk about all the time is being a connected team. A team that plays for each other, a team that plays and acts in a manner that you want a team to interact. You know, we want to play with great effort. We want to play with great discipline. And we want to be a really tough physical football team. And those things you see a lot of. Now, it's not perfect. We're still working, trying to get to the level we need to get to. But those are what I want our team to be. And, you know, schematics is one thing, but the character and the culture of what the team looks like, that's what I want it to look like.
In terms of the red zone offense, Coach, is there anything at this point of the season that you can maybe integrate or change?
Yeah, we're always looking, you know, and we're always looking to improve those areas. You know, hasn't been a great stretch for us down there over the last, you know, month in particular. You know, definitely things that we can try to put guys in better position. I can do a better job calling plays. You know, we can definitely run the ball down there too, more than we have. So all those things are things that I look at, I'm critical of, trying to find ways to score more touchdowns. This is a game that we're going to clearly have to score touchdowns with the way that they're capable of scoring. So that's a point of emphasis for us this week to improve down there. And there's definitely things we can do to help our red zone offense in general and help players get in position to go make some plays.
Nick Folk's obviously been terrific since he's been here, terrific this year with field goal accuracy, trending ridiculously well the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Why do you think kicking's got so much better in the league?
I think these guys they're so dialed in on their craft. You know, I think what's really impressive about Nick being as many years as he's kicked is how disciplined he is in his approach. The weekly approach, the off-season approach of just keeping himself in the type of shape needed. But there's just so much focus that these guys have now from the time they start kicking all the way through, where they kick so much and they get so good at it. And then these guys are talented on top of it. You know, you got really big legs in the league right now, guys that can hit from 50 plus like it's nothing. But I just think there's an influx of kicking focus and kicking talent across the league right now, and it's pretty impressive to watch. But Nick, for as long as he's done it, his consistency is incredible. And I think one of the things that's the mark of great players is guys that do it over time and do it at that same level over years. And Nick's certainly a great example of that. And I'm happy that we have him, and he's been fantastic to be around. So I'd like to see him keep kicking.
What are some of the reasons that Will has been able to trim the interceptions?
What's that?
What are some of the reasons that Will has been able to kind of trim the interceptions, you think, since your turn?
Yeah, I think he's doing a really good job of knowing, you know, where to put the ball and when. I think he's improving in that regard. I think he's improving in his timing. I think he's improving in his command of what the offense is and where the ball should go. His recognition of coverage has gotten a lot better. And he's doing a nice job of working through progressions, and then not forcing a ball, you know, being more patient, taking as it comes, not necessarily hunting up a big throw and just taking a completion. And then when the big throws have happened, he's been aggressive to hit them. But I think all those things have combined to make you know, a much more patient player and a much more accurate quarterback as he just gets more comfortable. So it's been huge for us. I mean, that's why a lot of, you know, we've been in some of these games, you know, over the last month is his performance with the ball, and a large reason why some of those games early in the year were a struggle was because of his you know, carelessness, if you will, is the best way to put it. But he's really improved in that regard, and it's helped our football team.
Brian, what's
process like to watch tape and game plan for the Bengals with so much familiarity there, both in player capabilities as well as scheme?
There's probably a small edge to that, to just knowing the personalities and knowing some strengths and weaknesses. But, at the end of the day, I look at the tape and I see what they do. There's still a lot of different faces there. There's some familiar ones, but there's still some different ones there that are new that they've brought in. And it's a scheme that I've got familiarity with. But other than that, Luke can call just about anything. He's got a deep bag of tricks, and we just got to go play our game that we need to play to win the game. And it's not the familiarity might help a little bit, but when the ball rolls out there on Sunday and we got to go play, it's we got to play and react to what we see and have a plan in place. But knowing that Lou's got all kinds of different looks he can present to us, and we got to play our game well and not worry so much about that part of it. So it's weird to game plan against them. Haven't been with all those guys for so long, but it's we'll get to Sunday and it's going to be just like every other Sunday and every other NFL game, and then we're going to try like hell to win.
We talked earlier in the week about it being an impatient league. Cincinnati in particular showed a lot of patience, from ownership to coaching, from Zach to the rest of the staff. How does your experience of feeling patience in Cincinnati inform the type of head coach you want to be in Tennessee?
I think that Mr. Brown has such a great feel for football, and he sees a lot of the things that happen behind closed doors. And the one thing that's great about how they operate there is that they're always around and they see and converse, and they're sort of involved in the daily process and have a great feel for what's happening. So I think that makes it a lot easier when you have that connection with the people that you're working with, and you see progress that maybe not everybody sees out in the world, and you believe in what's being coached and what's being taught, and how the whole process is working. And I think that allows him to have a very, very unique perspective. And he's a naturally patient person. But again, it's, patience only goes so far, and you still got to produce at some point. And, thankfully that worked. That worked out for us, and we were able to produce. But certainly he saw a lot of what was building and believed in it. And I'm thankful for that.
There'll be time for, of course, some post-mortem at some point
Yeah.
this season. But so far, what do you feel like you've learned from the guy who took this job, and how would you tell that guy?
Well, we can sit down and talk for a while if you want. I would just say I've learned how to deal with and relate with all different types of parts of the building that were, those things that I've never done before, with the players, with being involved in all three phases. That's been good for me. It's been an area I've grown a lot, and just in terms of like overall team interaction and relation. I think I've learned a lot about the structure of the week, of practice, of all the different things, the minutia of the day-to-day. I've learned a lot about myself on top of it. There's a lot of things that come up daily that challenge you. They challenge your vision. They challenge your beliefs. And the one thing I've stayed true to is I know exactly what I want it to look like, and I know exactly what my vision is for it. And it's been challenged, but I've been able to maintain what I believe. And I think that that's a tough lesson to learn, is to continue to get back and keep pushing forward when things don't go exactly the way you thought they might when you take the job. So those are all very general things, and I'm sure we can get into them at another point more specifically. But yeah, I think there's been a lot of growth for me and a lot of learning pretty much every day since I've taken the job.
At your introductory press conference, you showed some raw emotion and gratitude towards Zach Taylor and your time spent with him.
Yeah.
What's the emotion going to be like on the field, on the sideline, during the game, and also afterwards in that post-game embrace?
Yeah, I think by the time we get to game day, we're ready to go play. That's a place I have very fond memories. But this is the place where I'm trying to build them and have the same type of memories and relationships with my staff here and the players here. So it'll be a normal game when it kicks off. Again, a lot of respect and love for the people there, but we're still going to go out there and try to go win the football game. It'll be good to see those guys. It'll be good to say hello, and then I wish them luck, and they'll move on to their next game. We'll move on to ours. And Zach and I will probably get together in the off season and share some stories, but it'll be a pretty normal NFL Sunday from that regard. But pre-game and post-game will always be good to see those people.
When you go through the evaluation of Will and get to the end of the season, will you measure him more by the progress he's made this year, or will it be more by what things he can still reach as a player and a quarterback?
Yeah, I mean he's got a whole lot of things in front of him that he can still reach. There's a lot of things I think he's getting better at, and plenty of things that I think he still continues to have to get better at. So that evaluation for him is ongoing. It's not anything that's going to, at the end of the season, likely doesn't stop it. And there's plenty of things that he's going to take from this experience that will make him better moving forward from here too. So those things are exciting. That's part of coaching that's fun, is that Will's very coachable, and he's open to trying to improve everything about his game, and he attacks it with an intensity and an enthusiasm that I think you need to get better. And those are the things that I'm excited about, and hopefully as the season ends at some point here and you get a chance to reflect and look back, there'll be more things that we can very specifically spell out that he has to improve on, and then how to improve on them. It's really easy to critique and tell him you got to improve on these things, but the idea is to have a plan and a process to help improve those things that are specific.
When you are getting 18 targets in a game, and you know that the other team is coming into the game with his name circled at the top of the board to stop, that sense of futility, do you game plan similarly? Do you try to zig? How do you stop it?
I mean, it's pretty clear that you don't necessarily stop it. You know, he's going to have, just like when we played, Justin Jefferson early in the year and some of these really good receivers, these guys are going to have they're going to make their plays. They're going to have their catches. They're going to get the ball thrown to them, and they're going to make the plays. You do your best to minimize the impact of them over the course of a game, and you do your best to make it difficult for them to catch the football and have targets, but there's no doubt that the ball is going to go, from number 9 to number 1 multiple times during the game, and you got to make sure you're just in the right position. That when he does have catches, that you get him on the ground and they don't turn into explosives, and you can keep a cap on some of those bigger plays that show up. So. Yeah, you do your best to make it hard, but you know that the plays are going to come and the ball's going to him, and that's just part of playing against the great receivers in this league, and he's certainly one of them.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Thank you.